Good morning. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church, right here in the beautiful city of Beaumont, Texas. And we're here today on what's happening in our neighborhood. And today, my special guest is Mr. Michael Perez. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Pastor Sharp.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mike.
Well, Pastor Sharp, I moved here about 11 years ago, and I came here temporarily at the time. That's a story of lots of people here in Beaumont, isn't it? I came as a favor to a former boss who recruited me to come out here for a few months. And 11 years later, I'm still here.
Wow.
I was the Boys and Girls Club director here for 10 years. Invested a lot in that program. Had a lot invested in the young people of our community. And recently, a year ago, I moved over to Gateway Mortgage Group. I'm a licensed loan originator and also do all our business development and marketing and outreach. And I'm really grateful to work there because I've been so involved with organizations around town that have such a great impact on our community. My new employer allows me to do a lot of supportive work on behalf of the company for a lot of those organizations. So I still get to be involved in a lot of great work.
So tell us about your work with the Salvation Army and the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, well, Boys and Girls Clubs are across the country, and they're basically charters, and the Salvation Army has an agreement with Boys and Girls Club of America that allows their local Salvation Army Corps to hold a Boys and Girls Club charter. And so the Boys and Girls Club here in Beaumont has been here for more than 60 years. So it has a rich history. But when I came to town, it had kind of a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a lower point. So it was after Hurricane Rita, so there was a lot to do and going on in the community, a lot of rebuilding. And so we just got to work. And, it's a small Boys and Girls Club, but we did everything we could to maximize our resources and serve a lot of children. And this community is just such a great place, but there's a lot of need, and so we just kind of buckled down and served as many kids as we could.
So what were some of the activities that you did over at the Boys?
Yeah, well, the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls Club is intended to fill in the gaps. I've actually worked for youth organizations for 5 years before I moved here, so 15 years altogether working for youth organizations. And, I enjoy the warm, fuzzy feeling of helping children, changing lives. But what it's really about is we're building taxpayers. We're creating leaders. We're investing in the future. That's why you serve young people. And our community really understands that. We have all these plants, and refineries around here. And these major corporations, they shut their operations down for weeks at a time, losing millions of dollars to be able to do all the repairs and everything to prevent accidents or things that can happen in the future that could cost billions of dollars. So our community understands investing in the future, and when we work with young people, that's what we're doing. We're taking young people that are at risk of becoming a liability for their community, whether it's through the welfare system or the penal system, and turning them into taxpayers, leaders, people who are going to work alongside you and I to make our community a better place.
Now, not only did you work for the Boys and Girls Club, but you're also on the board of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, well, because my approach and my interest is very holistic and looking at the community at large and the economy, I always got involved in a lot of things in our community, particularly economic things. And so I started getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce about 8 years ago. I went through Leadership Beaumont and really got to know a lot of the things that were going on around town. And I've been on the board of directors for the Chamber about 5 years now.
Now, for those who don't know anything about the Chamber, give us a little insight on what happens in the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, that's an excellent question because a lot of people ask, why should I join the Chamber? What's going on? And a lot of people complain, the Chamber's just worried about these Exxon Mobils and these big companies, which is not true. We do a lot of work for small businesses, a lot of networking opportunities. We try and provide a lot of opportunities for people who want to expand and grow their business, to meet new customers, and to spread the word about their business. But it is true that we go out and we get a lot of large companies to come to Beaumont. We try and recruit them to come in and build their plants or their businesses here, their main offices. We also work with the businesses that are here to encourage them to expand. Expansion is great for the economy.
Yes, it is.
And the Chamber does a lot with, right now it's a state legislative session, in Austin. And the Chamber does a lot communicating with our legislators in Austin about the needs of this community. We do a lot with local government to make sure that business ordinances are friendly to business, and we work on large issues. You know, we're a hurricane region, and the windstorm insurance was a big issue that the chamber did a lot of work on behind the scenes to make sure that homeowners here were able to get insurance to cover them in the event of a hurricane.
So really, you're really involved in making sure that we have employment opportunities here in our neighborhood.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it's all about. And, you know, the chamber does a lot for leadership development as well. I help develop a mentorship program where younger or less experienced professionals get paired with a more seasoned professional who can give them business mentorship and personal life mentorship. But we also have youth leadership programs. I'm real proud to be involved with an 8th grade youth leadership program that we have. And we go into the schools and interview the students, and then we bring them to an all-day program at Lamar. And, you know, when we go out to the schools and I do those interviews, I always make sure I explain to them what the chamber does and why it does, because they have no idea what a chamber is, just like many of their parents don't. And I tell them, you know, without good employees, without a workforce, without jobs and opportunities, you know, our community will suffer. And so that's why it's very key, very important to be involved in those type of things.
Now, your latest endeavor that's coming up is you decided to run for the local school board. So first of all, tell us why you decided to do that, and then we'll talk about what you bring to the table in that endeavor.
Well, you know, I always kept close contact with the school district. We worked with the school district a lot when I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and I kept track of what was going on, you know, with our district and the school board over the last few years. And, you know, it's no secret, Pastor, that there's some division in our community.
Yes,
we can't get around that.
Right.
And, you know, because of my approach in my career to prevention, you know, to finding the problems and how can we prevent them, because it costs a whole lot less to prevent a problem than to fix it after it breaks. I'm always looking at what is the root problem. And, you know, a lot of different people have different ideas of whether there's a problem, if there's a problem, what the problem is at our school district. But the root problem, I believe, is that division. And we have parts of our community that don't see eye to eye. And that, unfortunately, oftentimes is the children that suffer. And so my desire to run for school board comes from that desire to bring people together. But not just a desire to do that. Lots of people can say, you know, when you run for office, you say what you can to get elected. You know, but I think what voters have to ask is which candidates have the track record in the past of doing what they say they want to do. You know, what is your vision and what have you done in the past that proves to me, the voter, that you can accomplish that? And, you know, in my career, I had to work to create a lot of collaborations and to bring a lot of different people together from different parts of town, from different demographics, from different interest groups. And, you know, I've built relationships in the business community. I've built relationships in the minority community. I've built the relationships all over town. I've been working in every neighborhood for people's children. I've been working in all parts of town to get churches and organizations to come together. Oftentimes people that have very different interests, but they have one common interest, the kids. And you have to get them to forget you know, what they're angry about or what they're upset about and say, hey, look, you both have the same interests. What is our end goal? Can we come together and make this happen? And so, you know, everyone says that, oh, you know, people ask me to run. You know, you know, everyone's mom asked them to run, you know. So I'm not sure that really means anything. But, you know, the people that did ask me to run, a lot what they said that really convinced me in the end was that with these new at-large positions for BIC, which is new and let's admit it, somewhat controversial. It was very important to community leaders that there be people in those seats who can truly represent the community at large, and not only have the capacity to, but that the community already knows who they are, what they're about, and that they have a track record of working in every part of the community.
And you've shown yourself over the past 11 years to be involved with the community, and so that gives you a greater appreciation for what can be done if we collectively come together.
Exactly. You know, and it's important that, you know, when you're on a board like that, if you're in an elected position, you know, you're going to make decisions that are going to not make one part of town happy.
Right.
You can't make everybody happy. You know, when you try and make everybody happy, normally you end up making nobody happy.
That's right.
So you look at the decisions, each one individually, and you find out what is best for our children. So, you know, if I make a decision as an elected official that, you know, someone in the West End doesn't like, or someone in the North End doesn't like, or someone in the South End doesn't like, at least they know what I'm about, and they know that it's coming from an earnest place, because they've seen me working for their children in their neighborhood, in their schools. And so they know that I don't have ulterior motives that are not centered around the kids. And I think people understand that we're not always going to agree on something.
Right.
You know, but what they don't like is when they don't agree with you and they think that you're making it based on, you know, motivation that's not in their best interests. We can have disagreement as long as we trust one another. And that trust is what it's all about. And the only way you have trust is with a track record.
Well, listen, I want to thank Michael for coming in and talking to us today about what's happening in our neighborhood. Now, it's important that we take our civic duty seriously and go out and vote in the coming days. Now, I want to thank you once again for joining us on what's happening in our neighborhood, and we'll see you next time on our broadcast.